normal time of 6 o'clock. What I wanted to talk about today was your friend and mine, the data adapter, a little bit more. Show you some of the stuff you could do with the data adapter. So, hopefully, let me add a couple more records here. Sandwich name, Francisco is ham and has ham and cheese on a bagel. Okay. So what I wanted to show you was in Form 1 here. Remember our table adapters? We have a data set, a binding source, and a table adapter. So now the question is, for the quiz, do you remember what the table adapter's job is?
Store the data.
No, it doesn't store the data.
Store update.
Right, it performs actions on the data. What is the data set's job? These are excellent quiz questions. So let's just make sure we're really clear, right? No ambiguity. So, the binding source, that's the kind of the first step in the process, and what does it tell us?
Doesn't it tell you what the database is?
Tells us the physical connection information, right? Is it a file? Is it a server? Is it a port on a server? The IP address? Whatever. And then we go to the table adapter, which contains all of the queries needed to create records, update records, delete records, read records, all that CRUD operations. And the data set is a representation of the database in memory. This is what we actually change and work with. And then we tell the table adapter to update itself based on the data set. So, you just want to remember, first we have the binding source, then the table adapter, then the data set. So one of the things that's really common in database applications is to want to sort data, right? I mean, it'd be nice to be able to look at these sandwiches sorted either by the name or the meat or things like that. So we would do that sort of sorting inside the table adapter. So I'm going to come down here and choose Edit Queries in Dataset Designer, which gives us this. Does everybody remember this? All right. So what I wanted to do was show you some of the cool stuff. There we go. What I'll do is I'll click on a query right there, and you'll see that we have a variety of information we can change about each query. So if we just take the first query, which is our regular fill query, which pulls all of the data out of the database, you can see here we have something called the command text. And if we click on these three little buttons way over there, we'll keep going. I cannot find that database. What? How can it run then? This all worked for me last night. Could not find desktop. Ah, interesting. Hold on, I can fix this. I think I can fix this. Database 1, example 1, my projects. Find files. Star.accdb, is that what it was? There it is. Copy it out here. db test1.accdb. Alright, let's start the test1.accdb. Make sure we've got, okay, we've got all of our data. Alright, let's open up Visual Studio one more time. Does anybody notice Visual Studio is really slow when you're using it? Does anybody have that problem? Like it pauses a lot and you see like the hourglass or something?
It's just your computer.
It's just terrible for me. I was using it all day yesterday at work, and I'll show you a little tip here.
Looks like they got 2010 out, maybe better get it.
I don't know. If you're having problems with Visual Studio being really slow, you open up Internet Explorer. This is really weird. You go to Internet Options. You go to Advanced. You choose the Security section. Right here. And see this, you probably can't read this. This says check for publisher's certificate revocation. Make sure all of those are unchecked. And it will operate much faster.
So it's like looking online and stuff all the time then or something?
Well, it's like it's always trying to connect online, but then it doesn't just try and connect, it actually, I guess, is checking some certificates. So, okay, let's try this again. So I've got fill data, I click in there, cannot find, this is horrible, desktop, MSDB example 1. Desktop, MS215 example 1, DB test 1. ACCDB. Maybe in here. There we go. You shouldn't have that problem. I don't know, this project wasn't arranged properly. So I want to talk a little bit more about this screen here. This is your query builder screen. And basically what you have up here is all of your fields, right, in your table. And then, of course, down here, what you have are, you basically can say things like you want to sort things a certain way. So if you wanted to sort on the sandwich name, you could click in the sort type, under sandwich name. So there's sandwich name, there's the sort type, and we can choose to sort that ascending. What's the difference between ascending and descending?
So it's beginning alphabet versus end alphabet. Or beginning of something to
right.
the end of something.
Right. So how do you suppose it sorts the sandwich name? I mean, alphabetically seems like a, you know. But what if there's numbers? Which come first, numbers or letters?
Numbers.
Numbers come first. Yep. So we can we sort? You think by more than one field? Does that make sense?
Yep.
What if we had 3 turkey sandwiches, but each of them was a different price, right? The small, medium, and the large. We might want to first sort by sandwich name, and then if we had a column for price, we might want to sort by that. So we can sort by multiple things. And notice over here, we get the sort order. So it tells you which one it's going to sort by first, and then second and third, and so on. Now I'm going to go ahead and clear these out. Excuse me, the next thing is this filter column. Now down here, we've got the text of our query in SQL. And I know some of you are familiar with SQL and some aren't. This is what it looks like. It's basically another programming language, and it's only used to pull data out of the database. And you'll notice that notice it added, I don't know if you can see this, it says select all these fields from this table, and it added the words order by. So it automatically added that to your SQL statement saying we want to order by the sandwich name. Now notice it didn't put the ascending there, right? That's because ascending is the default value for an order by clause. If we put descending though, it'll automatically append the word DESC for descending there. So it's going to build this query. And the whole reason Microsoft came up with this screen is so that you, as VB.NET programmers, don't have to really be all that concerned with the SQL. Does that make sense? Now, one thing that's kind of nice here is, I'll make this a little bit bigger. I'm going to kind of rearrange it here. There we go. Is you can actually test this with this execute query button right there. So if you're wondering what that would look like, you can just press that and you get all of your data here in a grid, and we should see everything sorted by sandwich name descending. And as we see, the first sandwich name is the Willy Wonka, then the Pilgrim's Delight, then the Francisco, and the Dogwood, and the Breakfast Sandwich. And you can tell that normally we'd see these IDs in order, right, when we're just querying the table. So you can tell that it's the sandwich name is what it's sorting by.